The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Code Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Feeling good, folks. Holy, tarps are optional today, buddy. I'm sorry. I know it's hard on the eyes. I apologize. You can't drink this good looking. You can't do it. But I figured, hey, if it works for Pat McAfee, are you kidding me? I'm going to bust it out. We need more followers. We need more listeners, subscribers, folks. And I'm not sure if this is going to scare everyone away or maybe we'll get a few female viewers.
Oh, I don't know about that. You're probably gonna have some truck drivers that are signing up, trying to join the pod or something. I can't believe you were doing curls before this, trying to get a little pump, trying to get the blood flowing to the pythons before we hopped on air. But you look great, Nasher. You look great. Been working out. I'm all wrapped up here. There's no way you're getting my sleeves are staying on. That's for everybody's benefit.
Hey, all the single women, folks, they want it. All the single women, you are a single man. I mean, you're the most eligible bachelor in all of Utah right now. So we might have to get some tassels on you and start putting a clinic on, because I know that you're a specimen under that jacket, and that jacket looks good, by the way.
It's a great looking kit, and it's cemented to me right now. This thing is staying on. I don't have your Mediterranean complexion, Nasher. How do you stay so tan? You hit the bed like what, 3 times a week?
No, I just change all the bulbs in the house. So I just walk around with those skinny little glasses. remember those? I mean, everyone tried it at some point, I'm sure, the tanning beds. But no, I mean, I live in AZ. I mean, I'm like Magda. I'm like an old catcher's mitt with eyes full. So yeah, the tan is pretty much permanent. But I'm starting to look like a bag of milk. I figured tan fat is better than white fat. So
it's a great like Jersey Shore Pat McAfee look you have going on.
Jersey Shore, you're beautiful. All I'm missing is that helmet over your left shoulder right there, and I'd be ready to go. I'm telling you, if I could have played hockey with tarps off, I would have done it. I can tell you, warm-ups, folks, were the absolute best. No bucket warmies, flying around, hair flowing, weight vest on, smiling up at the family, just all the good stuff, right?
Did you guys ever used to like sometimes I see it in practice where instead of like switching to a different jersey or something, somebody will just go tarps off, right? And they won't have a jersey or anything, but they'll just be playing out there with the chest protector and the elbow pads and the gear and all that stuff, but no jersey. Were you ever doing that in practice too? Was that an old school move?
Skin to win, folks. Skin to win always, right? It's skins versus jerseys, right? That was a thing back in the day, right? And I always wanted to be skins, but anyway, buddy. Anyway, not anymore so much. I've been retired too long, but what a great week in the National Hockey League. What a great couple days. What a great night for Matt McConnell, my old partner. Folks, I don't know. Like I know you're new. You're kind of just getting into the NHL. Couple years now. You've been around for a while though. Pound on the pavement as Matt McConnell did for a lot of years. But man, 2,000. That is a massive number. Matt McConnell broadcasting his 2,000th game, and sadly for me, my back is finally just coming out of it right now for literally carrying his ass around the broadcast booth, around NHL cities all across the league for 14 or 15 years, but I wouldn't change it. I was picking up bar tabs every night. I mean, you name it. But what a treat, what a pleasure to work with Matt McConnell. And I guess the one word for me, Foltz, is just pro, right? Besides cheap, it's pro. And what I mean by pro is I don't know if I've met a more professional guy, right? How he goes about his business, preparation, ready for every game, whether you feel good or not, you know the drill. I mean, some nights you just don't have it. The tank is on empty. You're running on fumes, and you find a way to dig deep, right? And he did it for 2,000 games. So that tells you you're a real good person and that people love to be around you and work with you. And it also tells you that you're very, very good at your job, which Matt McConnell certainly is, one of the best in the business. And I know Utah and the Mammoth are very, very fortunate to have him as the voice, along with you.
Matt reached that milestone on Monday against the LA Kings. How many games did you do with him, Tyson? Do you know that? And of course, games with Matt McConnell count double. They're like playoff games.
Exactly. I need to send him my bill. That's all I know, because I'm getting him coffees. I'm doing his makeup. I'm fixing his tie every night. I mean, it was endless. But I think I'd like to say I did almost maybe not 17. I think I've done 17 or 1,800. And I think I did a year with Dave Strader. God rest his soul, one of the best to ever do it as well. I spent 2 years with Strade. So I don't know what the number is, but this gray hair is a big reason why. But man, did we have some fun in the booth, Foltz, but we had more fun off the ice than I think any broadcast team in the National Hockey League. We always had fun. You know, Matty, he gets a couple cocktails in him. He's a cheap date, because it's usually about 2 and his lips are just flapping and the stories are flying. So he is an absolute treat to be around, as you know.
How about the hands? He loves to talk with his hands, right?
The little stubby fingers. The little stubby fingers. Oh yeah.
He's moving his hands all around when he's telling stories. But I've been so grateful to have Matt, because when I got to Utah, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anybody here, and I walked in. I remember I met Matt and some of the other broadcast crew at Red Rock Brewing downtown, and we, immediately we're ordering the same IPAs and stuff like that. We're talking college football, college basketball. We're both from Indiana. He's from the part of Indiana that's close to Chicago.
The armpit, I believe it is. Right in the armpit.
Hey, and he made it out. So that tells you all you need to know about Matt McConnell. But to have someone who not just I could relate to, but someone who was so gracious with their time and their patience. And I'm sure there's been a million moments where I did something stupid or something that wasn't maybe it was appropriate in the ECHL or the AHL, but not in the NHL. And Matt, with a gentle hand, kind of steered me in the right direction through the first year and a couple months here. But I've been so grateful for him, and he's been not just a friend, but a leader and a father figure to a lot of us on the broadcast. But he does get those alligator arms when the check comes. He's got the T-Rex arms.
Oh yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Foltz, I forgot my wallet in my room. I can't believe it. Or the best part is he pulls out a Groupon. He's got a gift card or a gift certificate for who knows where we end up. But he honestly was one of the best. And I'll tell you what, we had some epic scraps as well. We're both passionate guys. Politics, COVID. We went through it all together. We were literally calling games in COVID in a U-Haul storage trailer, like a 6x8 or a 6x10 COVID trailer. We got a suit, jacket, and a tie and a shirt up top, and we literally are in our shorts. And we're calling them out of the Diamondbacks stadium some nights, and then in the parking lot. And we used to fight so bad about whatever was going on in the world. It was a tough time, but the best part about Maddie is we could always just let bygones be bygones, right? And water under the bridge, push it aside, and we would plow through a couple broadcasts. And I'll tell you what, we were in Arizona for a lot of years, and that is the other thing that nobody understands. Utah is coming out on the other side now, but we polished a turd, and I mean a stinky turd for a lot of years. You do the math from I don't know what it was, 07 to 21. How many times did they make the playoffs? Maybe twice, and that was in COVID when everyone made the playoffs, basically. So it was a grind, and we polished it better than anyone could polish it. And that also makes you a better broadcaster, right? And obviously, Matty is in a level all on his own right now at number 2,000. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, congrats to Matty. And just to wrap up on him, Tyson, but because we do want to get to our guest for this episode, Terry Ryan. We had Matt McConnell as a guest earlier towards the start of the season, but Tyson, he got to 2,000 the hard way. He's been around the National Hockey League with Anaheim, but then Atlanta. There were some tough years in Atlanta, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and now Utah. So there were Arizona, if I didn't mention that.
Is that three new teams? Three new teams, right? Atlanta, Anaheim.
I don't know if he was there at the start with Atlanta. He was there eventually. But, it was definitely Anaheim and Utah. He was there like the first year. But he had the kiss of death on two teams too, Atlanta and Arizona. But all that to say, like, Matt McConnell doesn't have the best win percentage as a broadcaster in the NHL, so it makes it.
Do we know it? Do we know it? We gotta find it.
I wish I did, but like it's.
Oh God!
It's got to be tough.
Horrific. And I'm a close second. I can tell you that as a player and as a broadcaster.
But how much harder does that make it when you have to, when it's your job to try and sell hope, right? And to make it entertaining even while the game is not entertaining. And that's what Matt has done at the highest level.
And you know what, Fultz? That's a great point, because I think what Matty and I sometimes would, get off the rails a little bit because you'd forget about that, or you'd take it for granted a little bit, because I did play a long time in the National Hockey League as well. But you never lose sight of where you are, and gratitude is a huge thing right now. I'm making all my kids have a gratitude journal and find things to be thankful for. And playing in the National Hockey League and broadcasting in the National Hockey League is an absolute pleasure and a blessing. And I know you realize that every night, the roads that we've all been down in the American Hockey League, in the mine, all that stuff, right? That is an absolute grind. And a lot of nights, though, you can lose track of that when you're losing every night, and you can get frustrated. And that is your job. For the people that are listening, I mean, our job, we work for the organizations typically, so you have to sell. Right? You want people to come to games. You can't, even though you're trying to keep your credibility, if it's 7-1, you have to find the silver lining. You have to find a positive, because you want people coming in the back of the door and watching the games, buying the jerseys, all the things, right? And that's what Matty taught me a lot, is we got to just plow through.
Yeah. So congrats, Matt McConnell, 2,000 NHL games. It's his 2001st here tonight as Utah gets ready to take on the defending champ, Florida Panthers. And the Panthers have a couple players that we could see in the Olympics. Hopefully Matthew Tkachuk as he gets back to full health. But before we get to Terry Ryan, Tyson, have you heard about this stuff going on in Milan with the Olympic ice not being ready, and they're worried about the quality of the ice and things like that? I mean, would you have ever thought that this would be an issue?
Never. Honestly, like never. I like, when I heard that come out, I almost chuckled, but obviously just sad, right? That it's coming to this, and that it's going to put them under the flame right now to make sure they get this done and get things fixed and all the things. I don't even know if they can fix it like it has to be fixed at this stage, right? But just so much obviously goes into it, and I've never been a part of an event like that, clearly, but it's just sad overall for all of it, right? Just having questions, wondering. All the things, but hopefully they find a way to figure it out, and it doesn't skip a beat, because I cannot wait. If it's anything, I mean anything, like Four Nations was, I cannot wait to watch this Olympics.
Now, so the rink is a little bit shorter. If you haven't heard the news, they're saying that the rink is not going to be 200 feet long like an NHL rink. There's going to be a few feet missing, and so it sounds like the plan is to take those feet out of the neutral zone. Now, Tyson, I've watched a game on a 185-foot long rink in Wheeling, West Virginia, in the ECHL, and so they have this shorter neutral zone, and it changes the pace of play. There's less neutral zone play, and in more ways, or some ways, it's kind of fun. But have you played in rinks with weird dimensions like that, where maybe the neutral zone's a little smaller?
First of all, speaking of Matt McConnell, I mean, do they have their Matty's mathematics? I mean, literally, Sparty. Did they all go to school at Sparty? Because that's the only way this could happen, that you mess up the dimensions of an NHL rink. Like, here you go. Like, how does that even happen? Is it an email? Is it a fax? Like, here are the numbers. We need the rink to be X, Y, and Z. And like, you just forget a couple feet. Like, in a couple feet in hockey, it matters. And to your point, though, I did play in a rink. We used to play, it was called Oceanside Arena. There was no neutral zone. So it was either offense or it was defense, which was fascinating because you were always on defense or you were always on offense. And it was just incredibly fun. And I think it taught you a lot, right, on both sides of the puck in a hurry. You didn't waste energy going to the neutral zone. It was just one or the other. And it was all about skills, right? So that's how a lot of kids around Arizona, at least, are learning how to play. And that's what kind of gets you in love with the game, because you're always have the puck on your stick or you're chasing it and you're awfully close to it because there's only a defensive zone and an offensive zone.
So does that take a little bit less importance, or does that take importance away from maybe just straight line speed and more importance on like the skill that you mentioned, being able to make plays within the offensive zone, because you're spending less time, doing a Connor McDavid or Cale Makar just blowing through the neutral zone, and you're spending more time in these tighter areas, I guess?
Yeah, red hot areas, I'll call them. And yeah, I mean, you eliminate the neutral zone, and the neutral zone does play a part. I mean, especially for those guys like Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and all the guys with the great speed, right? That are come flying up. There's intimidation by, being a physical and a tough guy and all those things. But then there's intimidation by speed, right? And that's really where it's on display, is through the neutral zone. Turnovers, all those things happen in the neutral zone. You try to take advantage of it, quick strike offense, all that stuff. But it'll be interesting. See what they do, see what they come up with. I can't wait. I just hope they get it fixed, and I will be front and center watching some of those games. Foltz, for your sake, are we going to ever, and I mean ever, see a sequel to The Miracle again? Like, it's time. It's been 44 years. I mean, can you make it happen?
I mean, it won't be a miracle if Connor Hellebuck's your goaltender, right? like I don't think we need a miracle. I think the U.S. team's just good enough. But yeah, it's been too long. Hey, we're winning World Juniors, right? So like, you can tell the wave is starting to build where U.S. is. I'm not saying they're equal with Canada on the world stage, but like, we're coming. We're on our way. And
well, it's mathematics. Again, it's mathematics, right? I mean, what's California? I mean, 30 million, that's all of Canada. So I would hope it's going to happen. And the way we're growing the game in the United States is, I am so proud. I mean, Arizona had a hockey team, and as sad as it is, they're gone. 28 years here. We are just pumping, and I mean pumping kids out of the state of Arizona. And that is going to happen in Utah. I'm just telling you, it's starting to happen. There's been a couple players already, but the more kids that you get involved, fall in love with the game, they're going to start playing. And it's been infectious in every state.
Hey, the contractor they sent over to build the rink in Milan was the same one you were using at the lake house in BC, huh?
And I got his shirt on right now again. Boom! I just need a tool belt and a hard hat. All right, come on, dude. I also wore this for our next guest, though, Fultz. I mean, this guy is the epitome. I mean, he's a Newfie. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. If you haven't gone to Newfoundland, you have got to go. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, and some of the most unique, kind, loving, caring, passionate people on the face of the earth as well. They live and breathe hockey. And Terry Ryan, one of my good buddies, a guy I used to play against a lot in the Western Hockey League, in the American Hockey League as well. What a story. What a journey. This guy at one point, Fultz, was living out of his car in downtown Toronto at the end of his career. He was an eighth overall draft pick to the Montreal Canadiens. Only played 8 games. He deserved to play way more. got into a battle with a coach. I cannot wait for everyone to hear these stories. And I'll tell you what, you wind him up, you stick a coin in him, and he just goes for hours. Literally, I think I asked him 2 questions on the entire pod, and he just ran with it. And I've never seen a guy with more attention to detail and stories and names. And it was a cloudy day on a Wednesday in October. Like, it's like, he can't make this stuff up. He's now an actor. He writes poetry. He's a stand-up comic. The guy literally has done it all, and he played in the National Hockey League. So I hope you guys enjoy. And here he is, folks. I think Terry Ryan is ready for us, the pride of Mount Pearl, St. John's, Newfoundland. And I'll tell you what, this guy's an actor. He's a writer. He was a hockey player. He's a podcaster. He's a stand-up comedian, commie. This guy literally does it all. The Western Hockey League, right? He was the Rookie of the Year in 1993, Most Improved Player in 1994. 95, he won the Plus Minus Award, finished 4th in the Western Hockey League in points with 110 and 50 goals. He was drafted 8th overall. And I'll tell you what, Terrence William James Ryan is in the house. I thought Jerome McGinley had a lot of names, but holy jeez. TR, welcome, buddy. How we doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm in Toronto now. We're getting ready to play. Thanks for the intro, by the way. It's great to talk to you guys again. Right outside Scotiabank Arena, we're playing the Shoresy cast. We all play hockey, of course. We're playing against the Leafs alumni on Friday. We played Detroit just a couple of nights ago. It was pretty cool.
Well, I heard you were just at a Raptors game. Is that true? You ran home from the Raptors game, and how many deep are you in?
Literally, I'm a couple of pints, but I'm literally, if we were any closer to the Scotiabank Arena, I'd be touching it. We're at La Germain Hotel right downtown Toronto, so it honestly took about 30 seconds to get over here. But when you were talking earlier, not that you're going to ask me this question, but I want to remind people listening. When you said, and I appreciate the intro, and you know, I'm the only Newfoundlander to play in the Western League. My dad played pro, so I know he helped guide me out there. I mean, Tri-Cities, it's a long story getting there. But when I got there, you know, that league at the time, that'll bring the physicality out of you. You know, like, I don't know that I love to fight at the beginning. When you get out there, you gotta at the time, I mean, a team game is one thing, but the Western League, like, you couldn't get by unless you had some level of grit. You guys won 3 out of 5 Memorial Cups, I think it was. But think about it, Tyson, when we were coming in there. I'll never forget, I was 14 years old, okay? I got brought out west because I had to live out west.
Oh, I love this story. This story.
Yeah. So I had to live out there in order to get drafted there. And Tri-City were at the Quebec Pee Wee tournament, and they were thinking outside the box. They could get guys like myself. Brent Ashcroft was from New York. Brian Boucher was from Woonsocket. You know, but he got us all to kind of move out there, and then we could get absorbed into the Western League. So I went out, and it was really crazy at first. I mean, oh my God, my first game, I got beat up bad, and the next week we played Williams Lake again. I fought the same guy and rubbed hot sauce in his face and beat him up, and then lost my virginity after the game. I was 14 years old, man. I used to put Vaseline and pepper on my face to get into bars with the guys. I mean, looking back, it's amazing that I had great leaders and everything, because if they were bad influences, I would have gone that way. You know, I was very impressionable being 14. I just wanted to fit in. But I'll never forget, Tri-Cities used to bring me up on the weekends, and I practiced a lot as a 14 and 15-year-old with them. I played a few games as a 15-year-old, but I had an idea, and I used to be in the room, and I'd met guys like Todd Klassen, God rest his soul, but anybody. Yeah, he was a great person, right? A great person. And
you were there with Todd?
Don't know,
What's that? You were there with Todd at the time?
Yeah, I would come down as a 14 and 15-year-old, and they'd put me with them on road trips. I'll never forget, the first one ever was in Kamloops, and Jason Bowen, I just remember as a marker for the game, Jason Bowen hit Craig Bonner really hard, man, and busted his nose all over his helmet. And it was, I just remember that happening, not that it was the highlight of the game or anything. And then, you know, so I would stay with him day and night. You know, he was a great leader. He'd been drafted to Pittsburgh. He was great. So I was getting to know Todd like a big brother almost, right? So I was 15. He would have been 18 or 19. Moving on shortly.
I grew up with him. Terry. Yeah, it was sad. So sad. Yeah.
Well, okay, so Sorry, Nasher. We were down. I'd heard about it. I used to go in the summers, either in Edmonton. I would practice because most of our guys were from Edmonton, or I'd go to the Okanagan Hockey School in Penticton because we could get myself, Wade Belak, a bunch of guys, Junior A, a few more guys from Tri-City, Steve O'Rourke. We'd go there and they'd pay us basically, and then at night we'd get to skate and train. And I knew that was better than going home to St. John's, Newfoundland at the time. I mean, I could work hard off the ice, but there was no programs. The ice wasn't even there the whole time, so I wasn't getting any better going home. So I stayed there, and then I remember we got the invite. Do you guys want to come down? It was like boat races time in Tri-Cities is what it was. And it was a bunch of guys going down for some early ice time. And I really wanted to go because I wanted to, earlier I could get there to better. I wanted to be comfortable going onto the ice with the older guys, and I just kind of gotten to know them. And I really knew Todd. I really felt comfortable around Todd. It wasn't easy coming from Newfoundland all that way. There was a lot of mental baggage that went with that. And Todd was great. So we were going down there, and those guys were in a carpool, and whatever happened, we were going down to meet them, and we got the phone call that without getting into the details, of course, he passed away in a car accident, and it was that's why I wear number 14, right? Because of that, I wore 20 up to that point.
Wow.
And Todd was unbelievable. Now to get back, and it was a long time ago, and now I don't mind talking about it because the memory lives on. But I remember Todd in a funny moment. I was sitting next to him in the room, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh, the commissioner's coming in to talk to us." I said, "Oh, what's the commissioner going to talk about?" I figured, maybe some free kit bags, maybe some merch. I don't know. And he came in and he lost his mind. He said, "Yeah, you guys going to start these brawls before the game?" He said, "Fine. You won't warm up together anymore." And I said, "What do you mean?" And then the guys are like, "No, seriously, we're going to have to warm up separately." And this happened my whole junior career, and you know it and I know it, and people don't talk about it enough. They don't. And then the next sentence he said, "And you know what? Screw you guys, because we're taking the 10-minute misconducts away too." So I say to people, like, without knowing it, we were the only league for a few years that didn't count the 10-minute misconduct. Right. So if I went to the draft, I had 207 minutes in my draft year. That would have been like over 300, right? I remember Kerry Toporowski had 515, or he had over 500 with no tens counted.
That's gross.
Remember that? And then I couldn't believe it for a 14-year-old coming out. And they showed me, it's worth your while, check out the stick swinging incident in Seattle, Tri-Cities versus Seattle. That had just happened. I was absolutely terrified. I said, I'm going to a league that we're not allowed to warm up before the game together because there's too many brawls. And we had to go into like Seattle. No joke. If the game started at 7:05, we'd have to like warm up at 6:10. And then we'd be doing 3-on-2s, power play breakouts. And then they'd have the whole, Zamboni would come and do the whole ice. Then they'd go on. And then they'd do the ice again. And then the game would start. And I just remember Todd getting a real kick out of that. And no one brings it up looking back. I try to say to people, I'm like, yeah, those minutes are without tens. Damon Lankow, I don't know, Tyson, I think you had 150-something one year, right? With no tens counted. It was crazy.
That was legit. Those were real. Oh, yeah. I missed those tens. I can tell you that. But, Terry, get to that the story. I think you're heading towards it with Quesnel when you played up in BC. Adam Smith, I think was his name. Tell that story.
I want to hear more about this Vaseline and pepper too, but keep going. Yeah,
I remember talking with Lenny Forshner about this, and I really wanted to get my facts straight because as a 14-year-old, everything was sensationalized to me. And I'd never played with hitting before. People, I try to put it in perspective. I went to the Quebec Pee Wee tournament, okay? I did not know I was going out west to play junior. Tri-City said, if come out west, right? They gave my dad a golden handshake and then some, right? Ever to come out for the time, and they set him up with a scouting job and a temporary. And he did scout Ryan Marsh and Sheldon Surrey for them. I mean, Sheldon was in the bubble anyways, from Edmonton. But he wanted someone to come to Quesnel with me that was close to my age. So they got Sheldon to come in, and we were both Bantam players on the team. That's what happened. So, but I was first year Bantam. Sheldon was second. So I'd never, ever played. I never took a hit in my life. So I went up there thinking I was going to play Bantam. Now, as soon as I went to Bantam practice, I said, okay, I'm probably going to play midget. So I went out for the midget team, but then the junior tryouts were at the same time, and a bunch of guys, Ryan Marsh being one of them, that played again. Sheldon was there, a couple guys off. The Victoria, Bud Howell, Andrew Laming. There was a few guys there that were on the bubble in the Western League, and a few guys, Bobby Needham playing midget. And I just said, I'd like to go out for the junior team. So I went out, and I remember the key to me was the visor, and we could throw it right up on our head. So I went from wearing a cage to like wearing nothing at all. Like we could put it right. So, and I absolutely loved that feeling. I remember loving it so much that it was like the main reason I wanted to play junior. I know it sounds crazy now looking back on it, but I remember that. And I remember thinking, and I was getting hit pretty hard, but I was like, once the year starts, these guys are going to be on my team. So logically, they're not going to let people be running me. I really thought about it like that because I wanted to play on the junior team. So I don't think that was ever really part of the plan. But so we went there, and I did. I had a decent camp, and then it came time for the exhibition games. And the first game exhibition was sold right out. And I remember looking at Chris Spencer going, wow, you guys get a lot of fans here. And he said, you don't get it, do you? They're here to see you. Like it's exhibition. Like, and I still didn't, it still didn't register. And to the degree that I was 14 playing junior. And this league was a real tough junior league. Like that's the other thing. Yeah. Of all the junior A leagues in Canada, this would have been number one toughest by far. Anybody that would have seen one game would tell you that.
It's not even close.
Yeah, it wasn't close. So one of the guys, actually, one of the better players in the league, like I said, Lenny Forshner, came up to Kamloops and won it with Kamloops. But so I go out there, and Lenny's taking the draw, and he says, yeah, you're from out east, eh? Welcome to junior hockey. And as soon as I was a centerman then, and as soon as the puck dropped, cross-checked me in the face. That's what caught me. It was the cross-check off the helmet, and it caught me, and I was bleeding, and then I just dropped my gloves, and I didn't end up fighting Lenny. It was a big D. I believe his last name was Adam. I believe it was Smith. I looked it up and couldn't find it, but I called Lenny to confirm the story and my buddies because I wouldn't. That's why it's in my book, because this is, again, not sensationalized, but I'm telling you happened word for word. So
yeah,
we ended up fighting. This guy came in. He was a big D, and he beat me pretty good. He beat me around, and he like held me up a little bit so he could beat me worse. I remember that. And oh yeah. And I was my size now, basically. I look back at the program, like I was 6 foot 180, so it's not like I was small. So no. I went in, and I remember what am I going to do? And I had zits all over my face. And for those people that watch Shoresy, like I talks like this on Shoresy, right? What do you have, boys? Well, that's the way I talked back then, right? Because I just left Newfoundland, so I didn't. Yeah, so I'm going in high school, and people are thinking like, who is this donkey?
Yeah, where is this guy from?
I'm in grade 9. They're all graduated high school. I haven't entered. I'm in grade 9. I'm in the junior high. Okay, like you just put it in. Now I ended up going to grade 10. I skipped a grade at home, but I'm going to Quinella as a grade 9. Okay, so to put all of it in perspective, these guys, I'm not even in. I shouldn't even be in their high school yet. I should be in the junior high in Quinella. So
but you got the older women though too, though.
No, yes. And I was that that aw shucks young kid that oh, bring Terry over, give him a kiss, it'll be so cute. Oh yeah, man. I was
Careful what you wish for.
Heads up.
Yeah.
Let the animal in the house.
So the next, I thought about it. I really did think about, like, I'm not saying that this was on a whim or like this was a big decision I had to make. And I was like nervous every day. I still it's funny now looking back, but I needed to be accepted as well. Not everybody liked the fact that I was there because I knocked a guy off that team. It ended up being a guy named Todd Christensen, I think was his name. But Quinnell, like not everybody wanted to go and work in the mill to Milltown. Not everybody wanted to do that right away.
Yeah.
Like so I was going, the guys are like, Chris Spencer, Ashley Fennell, these guys sat me down and they said, you know where you're going, we don't. So, you're going to take a spot as someone that's fairly local that's not going to want you here. So, you got to be aware of that. So before you're running your mouth around, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Speak when spoken to kind of thing. And it was their friend that I knocked out of but they knew that I was there for a reason, and they knew how young I was and impressionable. So they got there, they helped me. If they didn't choose to do that, I would have been home. But I remember going, what am I going to do? So I looked in the mirror. I looked right into my own eyes. I've done it a few times in my life when things are just
Quite a few.
dire straits. I'm serious. I beat my chest like a gorilla with one hand. I remember doing it, going, "You sack up, sack up, sack up." And my dad, before that, he said, "Just give it 1 month." He said, "Give it 1 month, and if you want to go home in a month, I promise you we'll go." So I just thought about it. Okay, on October 10th, I'm going to be home in O'Donnell scoring 6 goals a game. I thought for sure, but then I said, until then, give it your most. So I looked in the mirror and I came up with a plan, and this is what I did. We went out. The game was on one of the weekend days because we went to the 4x Later, which is a party place. So it was either Friday or Saturday. I don't remember which, but it was a day that everybody from the high school was going to the game. I knew that as well. It was another exhibition game, the last before the regular season starts, but this guy beat me up the game before, and now I know everybody's going to the game, okay?
Yeah.
So I've got a chance to be on stage.
Yes.
And each chance, and not everybody gets that chance, and so this is either going to help me stay or it's going to kick me out the door. So I said, okay, I've got something to do. I mean, I remember having so much anxiety about this, man. Like, I remember each minute, it seems, at the rink, but I did it. We went to, it was the first pregame meal I'd ever had. The guys took me out for a pregame meal. It was like 1 o'clock, and they said, we'll have a big bite here, and then a little nap, and then we'll go to the rink. I said, okay. And I'll never forget, this is not relevant to the story, but I remember when the waiter said, he said, "We got any breakfast at any time," whatever, it said that on the sign, any breakfast, any time of day. So I said, I'll have an Egg McMuffin during the Renaissance. Now that's an old joke. It's John somebody. I'd heard it on the Comedy Channel, but this guy, anyway, let's just say he didn't take it that well, and I nearly got in a fight before I left the restaurant that day. Well, no shit, this guy really got upset. Like, he threw me up against the window.
Just warming up. You're just warming up.
I just made a joke.
Yeah.
So, but on the way out, I took the hot sauce off the table. So I went to the rink, and everything else. We went through warm up like normal, and then I just remember saying to one of the guys, "I got to go back in and just my gloves. I got to fix my gloves." We had a trainer named Brian Campbell. We called him Soupy. And I just said, "Soupy, just don't say anything," obviously. He was the only one that saw it. But I went in and I dumped the hot sauce into the sink, and I took my hands and I buried them in the hot sauce for like 30 seconds. And then I went onto the ice, and I nearly screwed myself in warm-up because I wiped my eye, like when my helmet came off, and I nearly blew out for the first shift. Yeah, and I remember that being part of the decision. I didn't want to wait, and Chris Spencer said, "I'll wait till the end of the game." And that's when I realized, like, sometimes you need to get a fight out of the way. There's a reason it's going to happen, and I like doing it earlier than later. I don't like sitting on that feeling. And I remember that happening that day. I was going, maybe I'll fight him late in the game. And I was like, no, screw that. And it was like the second shift, only because the first shift I wiped the hot sauce into my own eye. So I let that wear off, and I just went over and I asked him. He said, no. I said, well, you didn't mind the other day. He said, you're 14. I said, again, you didn't mind the other day. So I kind of grabbed him as he was changing off of the bench. So when he came onto the ice, I kind of, he was bigger than me. So I like pulled him off of the bench at the last second. So, like, when he came on, I had a grip of him, and his head was like at my knee. So I got a little bit in on him then. But then when he got up and he was giving it to me, but the other thing is, I chafed up my helmet like Kevin Kaminsky. Like, I chafed it all up.
Yeah, like a cheese grater kind of thing to make
those
it
big
bang
files.
hands up, yeah.
Yeah,
Who taught you all these tricks? Your dad?
Yep.
Okay.
No, in locally, it was a guy named Jason Helzel was the helmet thing, and the hot sauce was just me in
Thinking
desperate
outside the box.
move. Desperate move, thinking outside the box. So then I mean, the guy came in, so I could tell, like, I did this. I did everything but go down. Like, I turtled standing up while he was beating me up, but I knew his hands were hitting the helmet, and it cut his hands so bad, like I could see the blood. It was going everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So then I just, at that point, it wasn't hard. I pulled his helmet off, and I almost strategically, like, I kind of wiped it. I could do whatever I wanted. And I put my hands all over his face, and he did this one. And then he had both of his hands up, and I proceeded
His eyes are burning.
I kicked the living crap out of him. I did. And then went off, and after the game, I lost my virginity, and I'd never even taken off a bra before.
What a day.
Hey, you finally put the Sears magazine down, eh?
Yeah, I know.
Not a boy.
Honestly, Yeah, I grew up like 5 years that night. I'd never like seen some things that I saw, and where it happened after the game in Quesnel, like there's a place like it's way out of town. It's called the 4x. It's just like a fire pit. You know, this wasn't a bar or anything. It was just where you go and listen to thrash music and throw stuff in a fire and stand by it all night. I mean, that's what it is. So, you know, the whole high school was there, and it was kind of my indirect, I guess, introduction to junior hockey and life in Western Canada.
Terry, we're sitting here in Utah, and I was going through your numbers today. Let's fast forward a little bit. You played 6 games here for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
What do you remember from that for the Utah Grizzlies in the IHL at the time, right?
Yeah, I would have loved to stay there. So that was.
Yeah, tell me
I
about
made a
that.
mistake I made a mistake that year. If I hadn't done that, although I loved my time there, but I was holding out that year. I didn't like Michel Therrien. I hated him. So and again, if he's around now, I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. I'm not saying it to drive more fuel into this fire. I don't care. I don't care anymore. It's irrelevant. I do other things. But at the time, I hated him. He didn't treat me well. I went in for a meeting. My first meeting with Michel, just to sum up, okay, this is just a metaphor for the whole way our relationship was over 2 long years in the American Hockey League. He just sat me down the first meeting, and I went into the room, and he literally, I remember he opened a Coca-Cola, and he grabbed a cigarette, and he lit it up, and he told me to sit down, and I did, and he smoked the whole thing, blew it at me, and at the end, he said, he stood up and he said, "Okay, now get the F out of my office."
You sat in the
One word
office,
was
he had
said
a
either
Coke
way.
and a cigarette. He didn't say
That's
a
it.
word, sit down, he just blew it in your face the whole time?
Yeah, and it was like 3
Jesus.
games, and like there was no reason to hate me yet. I didn't even
Right.
know him. And the year before is weird because I made Montreal, but Montreal knew they couldn't send me down, so I only played 4 games. But I practiced with them all year because in their words, not mine. They said, you know, and the year before, even though Kamloops won everything, it seemed there was to win in the world.
Taking
myself
care
and
of
Lang said, "All right,
business.
Mikey." Well, you guys did. I mean,
Still have nightmares of that
was-
song.
14 times one night, and we were good.
14
Right?
times.
Yeah,
And
and we
I'm
were
guessing
good.
that's the goal song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know,
14.
that year, yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, no joke.
Okay.
But I had 50 that year, but I did have like 25 fights. So he was like, Mario Tremblay's like, I don't know what more you'd have to gain from that other than winning. So he said, like, let's keep you here for a while and then get you sent back to junior, and we'll get you traded, right? So that was the plan. And then I had a few injuries, so they said, you know what, why don't you just wait here? I had a concussion the year before, I had a bad ankle. So they were like, you know, if we need you, you'll go in. They needed me 4 times. They were like, I ended up going back to junior, like at the maximum weight. I waited till February, and then I went back. And I was doing well, guys. I went back to junior. I set a record for playoff goal scoring in 3 rounds. I had 35 points in 16 games in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, I had 18 goals in I think 33 games. I had 32 goals or something. Like I remember thinking, wow,
You're
I'm
on
back
fire.
from this. I can't
Yeah.
wait. Well, I'm not bragging. I'm giving you factual,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
like,
I know.
because a lot of people are like, what happened to this guy? So everything was going well. And I just went in that. So, you know, that was the end of that season. And then the next season is when I got sent down. I'm not saying I shouldn't have been. I had an okay camp, but I get it. Now you can send me down and see what I can do. It's not, Therrien down there treated me poorly, and he smoked cigarettes on the bus. I'm not joking. So it wasn't just me that and it wasn't an English or a French thing. The way for him to get, I think, with mind control, if he could make you into a soldier, it was probably the best thing for his philosophy. And again, I'm assuming, but I played for him for 2 years. And again, it's not like I had bad stats. I was rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I had 21 goals, 34 fights.
Yeah.
He got, and the next year, less games, more points. It's not like he didn't. I was just fed up with it. I was fed up with it. I told Ray-Jean Hall, I'm not going back to camp. I don't care what you do. My roommates are getting traded. Darcy Tucker was my roommate. He's become a star. He couldn't play here. Craig Conroy, Valerie Bure, Matt Higgins, Aaron Asham. I don't want to see it anymore, Reggie. I'm your 1st-round pick, 8th overall, highest pick in 12 years, and I got to go down with this guy again, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, I'm not going to camp. Trade me like you traded everybody else. And I don't have anything bad to say about Reggie. I made a rash decision, but if he just traded me, or if I just gone back to camp because they had a record number of injuries, but they didn't. So I went to Long Beach for a game, and then I think we might even have been playing Utah or something, and Utah were there, and so and Bob Bourne was there, and Bob sat me down, and we had a great chat, and I would have stayed there, but St. John's Maple Leafs phoned. I was from there. I could sign an independent contract. Looking back, it probably wasn't the smartest decision because it's not like I was going to play ahead of Adam. Like I was used to playing the first power play and everything, and now I go over there. I'm not a Toronto prospect, so why would we put you out there ahead of them? Not that I'm any better than Adam Mayer, but it was me, Sean Thornton, basically Dennis Max. It was guys like that. I was on the fourth line there, and we chipped in a few goals. We did more fighting than anything. Again, no regrets whatsoever. I enjoyed my time. I knew what I was getting into. But that's why I left Utah. It had nothing to do with the place. I absolutely loved it. One of the most beautiful places I've ever played. The only place that beats it for me, I played in Colorado Springs for a little bit. And, I think it was just my relative distance, the friends that I have in that area. But Utah was as nice as anywhere I've ever been.
Terry, my favorite part of the job is the research, right? And you talked about all your numbers. I mean, the bottom line is you did play in the National Hockey League, right? No matter how many people tell you, oh, what happened to this guy, whatever. You played in the league, right? We're a rare breed, us three for sure. You probably should have played 800 if things went your way. But I remember, I'll never forget this. I got sent down. Wayne Gretzky sends me down, my childhood hero. I was crying on his desk. I had Wayne Gretzky wallpaper, Wayne Gretzky bed sheets. And he sends me down, basically ends my NHL career. Then they trade me to Toronto with the Marlies, and I'll never forget running into you after one of our Marley games in the bar. And you were there. I think you were just writing your book, or you just finished your book, and we were sitting there, and both of us were literally like pretty much at rock bottom. And you picked yourself up, my man, literally from the ashes. And what you've done since that day, brother, it is so impressive. But what happened? What changed? I know you were in a pretty dark place there for a while. You were like, I think that was 2005, I believe. You were like 240 pounds. Life was not going well for you, but you sure fixed that in a hurry.
I remember that exact day. I really do. I went up because Brad Brown was there as well, and Brad Lieb, who I'd played with. And I didn't know what to do. That would have been, 5 or 6. So I remember you telling me that story too, like distinctly. It was called the Orbit Room is where it was, and Brad Lee set it all up.
Oh, yeah.
There's memories unreal.
I remember it.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, and so a lot of things had to go right. I made some bad choices in my hockey career, but you're right. I often, my dad says, he's like, like some of your friends, like I just talked about Todd Klassen. Wouldn't he like to have 8 games in the NHL? Wouldn't he like to be alive?
Yeah.
So Dad would be like, it could have happened when you were 16. Like you got out there, you played in the NHL. And I used to like be really worried about going around the Canadians alumni room. I felt bad, but so many people, they were always my favorite team. And again, no hard feelings, only against Therrien, and that's over. Like whatever, it's water under the bridge. I'm a Habs fan, I always have been. So many Newfoundlanders. We went up just last weekend to watch Boston and Dallas. So, it's just a destination. So I didn't want to ruin that. So I used to go up and go to games and not say anything. And I ran into Ray Jean Hulu, who did the alumni one. He goes, "Why don't you come up?" And he was the GM during all this. So just to prove to you that it's not, we don't hold grudges.
No.
He said, you should do that. And because there's so many legends here. And I said, well, I'm kind of intimidated. He said, but that's what we need to open it up for you guys, or else no one is going to use it. Yeah. Right. But it is, you go in there and most people have Stanley Cups, plural. So, but anyway, the alumni now are great. And I do a lot of work with them. And they're awesome. They give us some free tickets every year. They just, my buddies and I rented the ice there 2 Fridays ago. We have a skate at home, and we all flew up. They gave us a deal on the. They're great. So, I was always a Habs fan, and I didn't want to lose that part of it. So, and by the way, so Ken Dryden, when I went into the alumni room one day, he said, you know, he put his arm around me and he said, once an NHLer, always an ex-NHLer. Remember that. And that stuck with me. I was like, okay, you know what? I can say that. And he said, and he said, here on the Montreal Canadiens, there's less than 1,000 of us that ever lived.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of it like that either, right? My career for a long time, I thought about it as a disappointment, and it took some time to get over that. And then last year with the Growlers, it really all came to fruition. And now I look at it honestly completely different. But just to answer your question about the alumni, now to continue that, I think he said something. Oh, what happened? So Susan Cryans, she used to work for the Habs, and in the office in about 2009, she phoned me, and she didn't have to do this, and she said something to do with the money that I had. She said, you know, you have a clause in your contract that if you had to retire because of injury, we have to pay so much for your school, but you got to go soon. If you don't register by September, it expires. So, okay. So I said, I think I was a Red Bull rep at the time, in between like jobs that I didn't want. Nothing against that, but my heart wasn't in it. And I was part-time. There was all kinds of things that I was trying to do, and I'd blown a lot of money, not in the funny, good way, like, you know, just, I just was swindled here and there and made some stupid decisions. And,
it happens.
So, and I was raising BJ Young's kid. BJ died in a car accident. I played with BJ, and I raised his kid, Tyson. I just had a
Red Deer, right?
kid, Blaine.
Played with him in
Elaine
Red
is
Deer?
15 now. Yeah, exactly.
I remember that, actually.
BJ's my real good buddy. We started in Tri-City together, actually, and that's half the reason I asked to go to Red Deer.
Okay.
I pretty much got myself traded to Red Deer when I was in Montreal. Aaron Asham was there, too.
Yeah.
And Ash was a Montreal pick and my buddy. So, but that's the reason. But anyway, so I went back in. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I had to do something. So I was playing senior hockey. Played senior hockey in Newfoundland. It's not a fighting league. It wasn't like the Quebec League. It paid a little bit, though. Paid some bills. And whatever odd jobs I could do, I had student loans. And then the Canadiens money was the bulk of my books and the tuition and all that. So I went back and I wasn't sure. So I was going to, my dad ended up coming back from pro and being a teacher. And I saw through him that works for a lot of reasons. I had a hockey schools. He taught, I only wanted to teach grades 6, 7, 8, right? 4 to 8. So, and you know, with the hours, you know, you get your Christmases, your Easter, your summer off, just very similar to hockey.
Yeah.
And I think I could do that. And I'm interested in, it's not going to, you know, not going to teach chemistry to first year MUN students or something. I just need to, you know, learn and get an education degree, elementary school. So I was going to do that. So for my major ended up being, I went in to see the academic advisor like 30 courses in. I had no idea, but I was just taking random courses. And she said, well, you pretty much got a folklore and an English double major now. You just need the electives. Like, and folklore, I know you're going, what the hell, folklore? When I say this and I do stand-up comedy, it's not even a damn, people start laughing. Right? That's how I opened up. I realized when I was opening up stand-up years ago and I didn't know what to do, Jerry D said, be self-deprecating. You know, at the start, maybe that, and I just said, hey, I'm twice divorced. I've got a folklore degree, and everybody would start laughing. I'm the biggest disappointment, sports disappointment in the history of Newfoundland.
Great start.
So, but it was, you know, folklore is just a lot of things. It's like history. Studying the stories and traditions. Superstitions in hockey was a big thesis, you know. And then my minor was English, and then I took a film studies like certificate within it. Because a certificate, I think, is like 12 or 15 courses. So I did a film studies. So a lot of those folklore classes were like the history of popular film, first year drama, theater and stuff, right? So I'd just go in and be doing that. And I was actually accepted for education. I was 2 months into my education degree, and I just needed money, and I needed it bad. And our house, I'm not kidding. Why would I kid about something like this? But I'm not exaggerating. We lost our house. That's what happened. We lost our house, and I don't know. I got to do something. And my buddy was Alan Hawko, and Alan Hawko was the Jared Kiso of a show called Republic of Doyle in Canada. It was in Newfoundland. And he said, I can get you a job in there right now, but you can't screw up. You can't be late. You can't come in after partying. None of that. You got to come in
You gotta
here,
work.
and this is a job. You're
Yeah.
going to be working 14, 15 hours a day, and you're going to be getting coffee for the director. You're going to be starting at the very, very, very bottom, but
Yeah.
you're going to get in here, and if you do that, it's something that you can work your way up. So I did that, and for 4 or 5 years I was crew, and I finally got myself into the union, and I was happier than a pig in crap. I was fine. And Jason Momoa came over to do a show called Frontier. Now, the people from Republic of Doyle now, they were in Take the Shot Productions. That was the name of the production company, and they teamed up with Jason Momoa's Pride of Gypsies to do a show called Frontier, which is about
Oh, yeah.
the Hudson's Bay Company back in the 1700s meeting the Indigenous Company in northern Canada. Clashes ensue, and so they needed like stunts and everything. But Momoa said, so I'd just gotten in the crew, okay, and I was waiting to get my tooth fixed. I had this, but I was waiting to get this fixed.
Yeah.
So Momoa said, you know what, keep it out. And he said, I think I can get you. So the very, very first scene in Frontier, which is on Netflix, you can check this out when you go home. The very, very, very first scene, 5 seconds in, is me begging for my life. Now in the script, it's a British soldier. It's a stunt because he slits my throat, and I say 3 words, please have mercy. But you're not supposed to talk on camera unless you're in the union. So please have mercy. I was being put in ahead of people at home that should have gotten the opportunity ahead of me. So they had, but I did. I had a decent. I mean, I knew everything in the world was on the line. I was being asked to do this for Jason Momoa, and I knew if I just did this, and because most crew they don't go on the other side of the camera. It might be like ADs, assistant directors they're called, or production, but usually if you're in like doing what I was doing, locations or set deck, you're not going to go over to the acting or writing side of it. So I was an anomaly, but I knew that it was for a reason. And Momoa's like, well, he got his tooth out, and that's hard to reproduce with hair and makeup. Do whatever you want, but he's already missing his tooth. This calls for a soldier to be beat up, right? So I was, and Momoa had read my book. My book had just come out. He's from Des Moines, Iowa, and he knew how to play roller hockey, but he didn't know how to ice skate. So I taught him. He said, if you take me out on Sundays, and then some, but Sundays we didn't work. And he said, if you do that, then we'll get you set up. There was more to it. Other people had to agree to all this. Brad Payton was the director. It had to go through him. And that was it. And I'll never forget then. The day of, Brad Payton came down, and and he said, I need you to like cry. I need you to like, you're not begging for your life here. You're begging for him to kill you now because you're suffering. If you see the scene, like it calls for a lot. And I had it differently prepared in my head. I knew this was a chance, but I didn't know, like, he said, I need you to cry. I need snot. I need blood. I need like,
Need everything.
Right? You need everything. So
Yeah.
during rehearsal, I had my hands behind my back, and Momoa came over, and, he ends up saying, now you must die or whatever. I say, please have mercy. And he slits my throat. But his knife hit me in the back, and he said, sorry about that. And I hadn't met him yet. He was just behind me. I talked to him on the phone, but this was right at the beginning when we were doing the rehearsal for the actual scene. We haven't shot it yet. So he'd come over. Actually, I met him, but very briefly. So he came over and he said, he said, sorry, my knife hit you in the back. And I said, I thought you were just happy to see me. And everybody started laughing, right? Now the scene is dark. There's TPs behind me, right, that I helped build as part of set deck. And I'm looking out. So my hands are behind my back. Momoa's here. The 2 British soldiers with me are here. And it looks silent, and it looks like we're in the middle of nowhere. But I'm looking at these 3 cameras, camera A, B, and C. And behind those cameras are all my friends for the last 4 or 5 years that I've been working with now as member of the crew.
Yeah.
And they're all rooting for me. So when Brad came down, when I made that joke, he got in my ear and he said, I need you to picture the worst possible thing. Like, I need this now. Like, we didn't just give this to you. And I was like, okay. And I said, what do you want me to think of? He said, the worst possible thing. And when in my mind was any harm to my daughter or anything? But I wasn't getting there. That just made me mad. When I looked at everybody there and I realized the situation I was in, and I was thinking about how I used to skate around for the Canadians, and I blew that opportunity. And I was so far away from that, like stacking shelves just a few years before it. And then I thought, now I'm back again. Like, here I am, and all these people are putting their faith in me. And that made me cry. But when Brad looked at it, he goes, okay, how long do you need, Terry? And I said, 30 seconds. And he looked at everybody and he said, give Terry 2 minutes, shut the F up, and we're going to do this scene. And that's what made me cry, was realizing
No way.
where I was back, you know
You're
what I mean?
gonna make
And
me
then
cry,
Momoa-
dude. That is goosebumps.
Hey.
That's goosebumps,
It
dude.
was great. Well, imagine how I felt that day. And then Momoa took me and gave me enough stunts to get me in the union, took me to Europe for 3 months, put me in Braven, a bunch of other things. And that's what happened. I got in the union that way. And then Jared Kiso had heard, I believe, through an interview on Spittin' Chicklets, like I was explaining this story. And I was driving home from doing set deck. At that point, I was doing set deck. I was working production. And I was getting the odd stunt because I was in the union. So I thought my life would never get any better. I was bragging to my buddies, oh, I'm going to be in another TV show. I'm in Hudson and Rex tonight. I'm the bad guy. Check it out. And then casting called from Letterkenny and say, hey, can you do a scene in 2 days? Sure. And I was literally on the ice with the Growlers. Okay. So I had the Growlers. They say, we need an audition. Like, we need technically an audition, but this is written for you. You got to do the audition. So I was like with the Growlers, I just gave my phone to Zach O'Brien, and he turned it around, and I said, here, and I just went through the audition. I added my own. That was the thing. They said, Jared hasn't been to Newfoundland, so put your own spice into it. I did one scene on Letterkenny. I had to taunt the bench, and then after the scene, went up for lunch, and Jared said, he said that was an audition for another show I got coming, and you passed it, and I went home, and then I found out about Shoresy.
Unreal.
Awesome.
So that's how you got on Shoresy. I mean, and I think there's a big day coming up, right? December 25th, season 5. What can we expect from that, Terry? Unreal.
Oh yeah, oh man. I every year I say it, but the show seems to get better. It's really well written. I'm really just a conduit. I love being part of it, and I love that I can say that because I can literally brag about it. It's one of the best written shows out there. Jared Kiso does it all, man. He's just a great fella. And if you like the show, if anybody likes the show up to this point, then all your favorite hits come back. Like you're gonna see a lot of your favorites from the villains, friends, enemies, family, villains, whatever it is. Shoresy takes another stab at Laura Moore, and the Bulldogs are back in a big way. It's going to be a lot different than season 4. If you liked it up to this point, you're going to love it.
Terry, talk a little bit more about Tyson just ran out here. No, I'm looking forward to seeing Shoresy. Well, actually, 2 things. One, you guys are keep doing these alumni games, right? How many have you done already, for people that don't know?
Last year we did 5, and it was really last minute. We were kind of talking about it in August. We shot in the summer, August and September last year. And I honestly, we had no plan. And then, because we were kind of in Jared and the producer, we're in their ear, because Letterkenny goes and does for those that don't know, listening, Letterkenny is a spin-off. We are a spin-off of Letterkenny, the OG. So they go and do a stage tour. Like they went to like 44 places across Canada and the United States the year before. So we were kind of in Jared's ear, kind of just, busting his balls a bit. Like, how come we don't get to do that? And then he came to us like just a couple days later and said, you know what? I think we could. I think we could go and play games. Like we all play hockey. And then it became really intriguing. And I don't know how they did it, but they put it together within a month. So last October, November, we went and played 5 games. And it went really well. The reception was awesome. The vibe was spectacular.
Yeah.
And we decided to do it again. So we played 5 last year. And now this year we came back. We played our first a couple nights ago in Detroit. Tomorrow we're in Toronto. And then on December 7th, we're in New York, the Islanders. December 7th, we're in Boston to play the Bruins alumni. December 10th, we're playing the Islanders alumni. The 14th, we're in LA to play the Kings. And then I'm going to stay out in LA for a little bit of a break. Then we're in Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary in January.
Yeah, I heard about the Calgary one. That's in, I think, is that announced and everything? I wasn't sure if I could say anything. Is that announced?
It's announced. The players aren't. I hope you get to play it. I mean, you should put in for it. I don't know how these teams put in their alumni. That's not.
Yeah, no, I think
really,
I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, I'll see you then.
Hey, Tara,
take it easy on me out there, please.
I got
yeah, right.
Our good friend Hurls told me to ask you about your teeth. How you lost those teeth? He said there's a good story behind it.
Those guys are some of my favorites in the world. We spent pretty much every day together in Pasco, Washington, one of the Tri-Cities back then. And I went out for dinner with them just like a month ago.
I saw that.
Um, yeah, so this one, like, all of these are fake, okay? So they're porcelain, I guess. So the one that I talk about missing, that happened years later in senior hockey. But the original way that I lost these teeth was that I was home after the whole Montreal situation I told you guys about. I was home playing roller hockey in the summer, inline hockey, just like stay in shape, something to do. And I had the puck and a guy tripped me. But when my socks, my hockey socks hit the floor, my head went straight ahead. Like there's no give in that, right? There's no sliding. So I just, my head went straight into the ground. And I had, it looked like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. I had my two front teeth were half cracked.
Yeah.
So, but this was like, say, August 10th. So then I was like, well, I can just wait till camp. Now that year I was going to Dallas Stars camp. I wasn't going to Montreal camp, and I was used to just going to Montreal camp and getting any medical attention I needed looked after whenever I got there. But I wasn't thinking, obviously, because I'm not signed with Dallas, right? It's not like it's the NHL that pays for this stuff.
Right.
So, but I just wasn't thinking, right? A young. And so I went down. So I went down. I waited like August. So I waited like 3 weeks at least. And I was like, when I was breathing in all those nerve endings, it was killing. So I was.
God, that'd be
yeah,
awful.
man, I was wearing a mouth guard.
Oh.
It looked like I was sucking an orange peel. So I was drinking every meal, but I wasn't even care. I remember going, like I get to drink shakes and have soup for a while, and just because it was like 10 or 15 grand, and I was like, I'm not paying that. I'll just wait to go there and get that done. So I get down to camp, and it's going pretty well. But before camp, I just walk in, and I said to the trainer, if you could help me out and just fix my teeth. He said, "Are you nuts? You're not even signed on a PT. Like, you're just here at camp." Like, of course I'm not going to fix you. I was like, I guess so. So I went through camp, and unfortunately, that's where I finally. So now, again, I got to go through camp and keep doing this. I'm not going to fix it now down there without going to a team. Now I'm like, I've waited this long. I might as well, whatever team I end up on, I'm going to sign somewhere.
Yeah.
But now I've been going for like a month and a half, right? And this is I'm starting to lose weight, like rapidly. So and it hurts. It hurts. It really hurts. So I go through the camp, and ironically enough, I played against Darian Hatcher a couple nights ago. He's what ended my career for real. Like it was a few injuries, but he fell on my ankle in warm up, and a high ankle sprain turned into in warm up. Yeah, he slipped on a puck.
Oh.
That's what happened. That was horrible because I went down. I was in great shape. I mean, I knew it was my last chance. If you think I was a determined player, you should have seen it when I thought it was my last chance. Right? I thought. I'm serious. Anybody there will tell you. I'm not kidding you one bit. I fought John Erskine 6 times in one day.
Oh,
they put us on. They made us roommates. Because it kept happening, and then I'll never forget. That's when September 11th happened, because we ended up having to stay together for like 7 days, just sitting there. Hey, what's going on, man? Like, my face hurts as yours.
Yeah.
He was a friggin'
That guy
giant.
was a killer.
Yeah, he was. I didn't go down there to do it. I chose to go to rookie camp. I said, I'm going to show these guys. Bob Gainey was their GM, and he watched all my games in Montreal. He knew exactly who I was. The reason I chose Montreal, Dallas, I was offered to go to 20 camps, right? Like, and then Montreal just had to make the trade, and everything that happened, whatever happened, I called Ray-Jean Houle. He's like, let's be bygones, be bygones. I don't know how I got down there for a third round or probably worse. I don't know. But I had a choice in it. And he's like, where do you think you should go? And I'm like, I'd rather go to Dallas than anywhere. I remember Edmonton being in the mix, but I wanted to go there because Don Hay was in the minors. He was their coach in Utah, right? And he coached you guys. And I knew if nothing else, he's not going to screw me over. I know that. And he played hockey with my dad. Now, I wasn't looking to get on those coattails, but I'm like, he watched me play in the Western League. He knows I'm not going to take shifts off. That's all I want. From there, I'll work on it, right? From there, I'll work on it.
Dude, are you watching this right now? That's Sean Thornton right there. You're beating beating the
Shorty,
wheels
yeah.
off of him.
We used to go pretty good. And it's funny, that was in overtime. My first game ever I played in St. John's. Yeah, it was in overtime. No joke. Yeah. David Ling's going to come up right here. Yeah, Linger
Oh,
was,
David
the reason
Ling.
I played a lot,
I
Linger
hate that guy.
he used to start so much. That's half the
That's
reason I
why.
played a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
played on his line,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Um, but yeah, so all of that. So again, I didn't go down there to just fight. I didn't. I went down, and I remember him saying, you know, like there was guys on the team that are really skilled. I mean, he wanted, in a perfect world, what people wanted was a guy that could, you know, just work hard like myself. They liked that I could get in some fights. And like it worked when I played with a good player like Langkow because we could complement each other. I don't mind going in, or David Ling or Mark Wolf or whoever it was, right? Because I could make a pass, right? They were probably better scorers than me, like pure goal scorers, but I could make a pass. I'd get enough going to the net and then step in for them, right? So that's what would happen. So I went to Dallas, and, you know, I'm not saying I was going down to play with Mike Modano, but he told me, he said, you, John Sim, and Rob DeMaio are all going to be here. And he said, like, ideally, you play a few games in Utah, maybe get some up. I don't know where that's going to land, but that's where you are right now, what we're thinking. So I just thought, if you're, you know, all you got to do is put me on the ice in the minors, and I'm going to work so hard that I'll get called up. That was my plan. That was it. So, but when that happened, you know, oh, sorry, just to finish the Erskine. So I got down, I had played 3 years in the American League at that point, but I went to rookie camp anyway.
Yeah.
And John Erskine had played 1 year in the American League, but he went to rookie camp anyway to get some extra time. So I was on one team, he was on the other, man, and I just went and ran. I think the guy's name, I think they played junior together in the O. I forget, it was Danovic or something like that. And he looked at me and I said, "You want to go?" And he said, "Sure, I'd love to." And then we went. And no, there's no refs or anything.
Right.
It was Bob Passon dropping a puck in a tracksuit with a whistle. So that went down. I said, "I'm not scared of you, man. You didn't get the better of me there." And he said, "Oh, yeah, you want to go again?" Sure, we went again. I'm serious. We put on our gloves. I said, "You think I'm not going to go
What
again?"
is wrong with you? You have a coat hanger for a hook, picking your teeth right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love you, dude. I love you.
So this happens and we had 2 games that day. So I think it was either like 4 times the first game and 2 the second, whatever it was. They took us both off the ice. It was just going to keep happening because I didn't want to give in, and neither did he. And he was one of their big picks, right? A great player too, big.
I think it was a second rounder,
They put us on the same team and then put us as roommates. Yeah, it was wild. So, but by the time then I went home, right? The coast doesn't start. All right, where I was hurt, they said, "Why don't you go to Boise, Idaho?" Because that was their like double affiliates. And I wasn't signing with Dallas, but again, they just watched me. So I was like, I could go anywhere, but I'll go to Boise. And that was part of the plan. I talked with them the whole time. So I chose to go to Boise as a free agent. But when I got there, you know, I signed and everything, and I had a decent deal for the minors, you know, and I was pretty pumped. Boise's another good spot. If I said Utah and Colorado Springs, a third on that list would have been Boise, Idaho. Loved it there, but I couldn't play much. So, but at the beginning of the year, yeah, I go now. My teeth are killing me. Now it's been like 2 months. Okay.
Nerves are just on
fighting
fire.
now to keep on. I'm grinding my way through like burgers and stuff, but I'm eating with a mouth thing in. It's bad. It's bad news. So Kip Dribnak is the trainer, the medical trainer in Boise, and Chris Bestel. I ran to Beastie last year, and the boys are there, and Beastie's the equipment manager, and he's like, "You're not going to get." And I go, "What?" I go, "Come on." I go, "Kip, you can hook me up, right?" I said, like, "Come on, man." And I said, "These are my teeth. Now I'm signed with this team. Help me out, for God's sakes." And he said, "Well, I just heard you tell everybody you didn't do it here." I said, "Kip, can you please, no one's going to ask the questions, please fix my teeth, or set me up with the dentist that can fix my teeth."
Yeah, hook me
And he
up.
said, "But again, Terry, you didn't do it here, so we can't do that, and everybody knows it. It's insurance fraud." And I said, "Okay."
It is insurance fraud.
Well,
Yeah.
What if I hurt them worse on the ice here while I'm playing a game?
Okay.
He
I
says,
can see
"Well,
where this is going.
yeah." He says, "Well, I guess then we could do whatever you want to do." I said, "Okay, I guess we would." So the door shuts, And I take the boys, and I said, okay, now here's what's going to happen. I need you guys to shut the fuck up. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that.
That's
sorry,
all right. Don't worry
No,
about
you're
it. No,
good.
keep
You're
going.
good.
You're good.
Good. I need you guys to shut the hell up. And if we're going to do this, I promise you I'm going to knock my teeth out with a hammer 3 weeks from now. And they said, why 3 weeks? I'm like, well, if I do it today, it's going to look obvious. I don't know. I've been going this long.
What's
3
another
weeks
3
from now,
weeks?
we'll do it. We'll make a day. We'll have a team party. So immediately money starts going back and forth. Half the room doesn't think I'm going to do it. The other half are like, he's definitely going to do it. And I know I'm going to do it now. If anybody's putting money on me, I'm definitely going to do it. I don't want to let them down. So waited. We had a team party planned. Right? We all lived around a pool area, really nice area. And even though it was that day, I still don't think everybody really thought it, because I remember there being a couple of the wives and there was kids around the pool. Two of the kids were Connor Milmock and, oh God, his brother. And they play in the American League now, Jeremy Milmock's kids. And Connor does a little bit of fighting. Anyway, I remember that. They were like 2 or 3 years old. And they had like a little Nerf hammer there, like a little tiny thing. And I thought I'd just like chip them out with that. So I said, okay. I remember watching, I had 5 or 6 beers. I used to love The Simpsons, so I had them recorded on VCRs. So we watched a few of those on VCR. I'm just giving you context to the day. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I've had enough. And I had maybe a shooter, a Jameson or something,
Maybe
and
a
went
couple.
down by the pool. I said, okay, bring me over the Nerf hammer. Like, are you serious? I said, well, you've been waiting for this. Of course, I'm serious. Let's go. People are going, okay, he's really going to do it. I said, of course I'm really going to do it. We've been talking about this forever. I've been telling everybody since August. There's snow outside. Like, come on. So I took the Nerf hammer and I just went I went clink, and it did nothing. I couldn't believe it. Like, I could feel it more in my forehead.
Oh.
I was like, okay, so it did nothing. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? I don't think I can do this, man. And then I took like a rock and I went, oh, I'm not going to do it with that. And then Bobby Stewart said, I can go get you a sledgehammer if you want one. I said, well, I need one. I don't want it. I need one. I'm not going to let you guys down. And now I'm going, give me another shooter. Boom, boom. People are going, okay. Right. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So he gets the sledgehammer and I go, bink. So the first one I go, but I let up, actually. I let the hammer up because I flinch a little bit, but it's so heavy that it hits me. And right here I have a scar. Right here.
From the sledgehammer.
My tongue could go right through my lip. And now, and at this point, there's blood going everywhere. The wives are going, what's going on? And there's kids, turn your
Guy's out
head.
of his
People
mind.
it's turned into a scene. And now I just say, screw it. I take the sledgehammer, boom. I knock out the entire row, comes out. People are going crazy. This is like a horror movie now. It's not what I wanted to happen. It's not what I wanted to happen, to have all these people alarmed and sick and upset. And Stewie's losing his mind laughing. He can't believe it. He's going, now, you idiot, you got to say you did it on the ice. How are you going to get that by everybody?
Dude, you're unbelievable. Dude, hey, Tara, I hate to say it. We gotta let you go.
We'll finish it next time.
That's
Dude,
right.
absolutely. That is the best stuff ever. We got Mike Weir waiting in the wings.
Yeah, we got the master champ waiting on.
He's stepping in. He's stepping
stepping
in.
in.
So
I met Mike Weir at the Skins game in PEI in 1997. Ask him about it.
Oh,
He won't remember meeting me,
Skins
but he
game?
went there.
Okay, all right, we'll bring it up.
It was the
He
Pro-Am
remembers.
Skins
He just
game.
nodded.
First time I've ever golfed in my life was with Mike Weir, Freddie Couples, John Daly, and Mark O'Meara.
Wow.
No joke.
you were in that group.
First
I
time
would golf.
golf.
It was me, Kirk Muller, Ron McLean. Like 10 NHLers were invited to golf with them, and then Ann Murray. There was a few more celebrities, and we raised a bunch of money for something. But it was the first time I ever swung a golf club.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll
I
ask
love
Mike
it.
about
I love
that.
it, dude.
I'm
I
sure
love
it was
it.
memorable.
TR, you're the best, dude.
Thanks, TR. Appreciate
Keep
it, man.
kicking ass.
Thanks, boys.
Good luck with season 5 and Shoresy, buddy. We'll all be watching.
100%.
Proud of you,
Thanks.
man.
see you
We'll
in
do one live
Calgary.
when I get down to Utah. See you, boys.
Well, folks, there you have it. He did not disappoint. I hope everyone loved that one as much as I did. I know that you want a hot stove, you want to sit and talk to someone, that is the guy you want to sit with, right? I mean, and we didn't even get to Senior, his dad, who he obviously holds very high and high standards, was a hockey player in his own right. He's got some beauty stories as well. The apple does not fall far from the tree. But again, what a guest. The stories, generous of his time. He's in Toronto. He's, I think, season 5 of Shoresy is about to come out, or maybe has already come out, where he plays Hitchcock in that one. Hitch, they call him, with that heavy Newfoundland accent. It doesn't get any better. He's crushing it today. He was living in his car. He is now crushing it. And I mean crushing it. And I love Fultz more than anything to see guys that have played in the National Hockey League, that have done the thing, lived your dream, now have better second careers, right? It's just so exciting.
Yeah, he's a great example of just life and the twists and turns that it can take you on. And I don't know, there's not a book on him, is there? Because like that book is gonna be a bestseller when it comes.
He's got two books. He's got 2 books.
2 books.
Like oh yeah, he's got a degree after hockey. He went out and got a degree. He wrote a couple books. He's writing poetry. He's got a podcast. He's got a very, very successful TV show. He is killing it on every single end you can possibly imagine. And what a personality, though, right? I mean, the no teeth. He spits it out half interview. I mean, he is the epitome of what a hockey player certainly looks like.
Well, and there was a video. Have you ever seen those videos where they bring different athletes to a hockey game and they sit them on the glass and they mic them up? They did one of those with Terry Ryan and another one of the cast members from Shoresy. And so it's guys who know hockey that are like just telling stories and watching an Islanders game. And there's Bo Horvat. I played against him, and some Quebec major junior or something like I don't know. But it was so much fun to see that video and watch him like watch an actual game. Whereas in Shoresy, obviously he's a player on a fictional team, but hilarious show. I have to rewind moments from that show because they talk so fast, and especially Terry Ryan's character, you can't understand most of what he's saying, like on purpose, right? And so I have to like rewind it because I'm laughing, but I don't even know what they said.
And that literally, you can't make this stuff up, and that's why it's so popular, because anyone who's played, right? All of Canada has played hockey, but you feel like you're back in the locker room again, because when you're a hockey player, you have Germans, you have Russians, you have people from all over the globe, right? And you're trying to listen to 2 teammates in the corner talking to each other in Czech, and then there's 2 Russians on the other side, and then you're out for dinner with 8 people, and you got a Swede, there is nothing like it. And that is what really hits home for me. And then obviously the lingo, right? Just how they rip on each other, how they carve each other. And that literally is what the locker room is all about. And like I always said, the hockey is the easiest part of being in the National Hockey League. You have to have thick skin in that locker room. You have to be able to give it, and you have to be able to take it to survive in the National Hockey League and the American Hockey League, whatever league you play in, beer league. I mean, guys are still doing it down there. It just brings you so close, and they become like brothers.
Yeah, that show does such a good job of bringing that to life, and I feel like the hockey community is proud of that show, because I know a bunch of people who don't know the difference between a blue line and a clothesline, and they still love that show and what it brings. But a great interview with Terry and Nasher. We got more NASHCAST coming up. I know you're buzzing around doing your Amazon thing, but when's the next time that you're in Utah?
So we have the Devils, Fultz. I'm coming right before Christmas, just like Santa. So the New Jersey Devils, that'll be our next one. That's December 19th. Then we have a day off, and then we go again on the 21st as well. So I believe that's the Winnipeg Jets are in the house. So I cannot wait. Guests to be announced as we go. I do know we have Duncan Keith coming on in the second period of that Jets game already. We have Hall of Famer, 2-time Norris Trophy winner, won a Conn Smythe as well. And how about 3 Stanley Cups, Fultz, in 6 years? This guy has literally done it all and won it all. And then a guy who also another Blues alumni. We got Cam Jansen coming on, longtime New Jersey Devils tough guy. This guy has personality. You do not want to miss this one. This guy just chucks them, and you don't know what's going to come out of that mouth of his. So hopefully we have the filter on and maybe the delay button close by, because we will need it. He's another Matthew Barnaby-ish type of guy. So I cannot wait.
That's going to be great. I feel like I've seen as many videos of Cam Jansen fights in the Blues alumni games as in like when he actually played.
Oh yeah. He's like, Nasher, let's fight a little
game?
bit. Let's fight a little bit. I'm like, no, I'm not fighting you. Like, even by accident. He even just grazes my schnoz, and it's on the side of my face again, right? I just got my teeth fixed. Do you think I want to take an accidental, knuckle sandwich right in one of these jibs? I mean, these are like thousands of dollars, folks. I just, things are looking good. I don't want to risk it.
That's right. That's right. Plastic and all, but that's going to be great. And looking forward to that. And we're right in the middle of a homestand right now. Finally, some home cooking for this team, and hopefully the Mammoth can continue to take advantage. Been a really good home team all year, but we'll see everybody next week, and then on the 19th and the 21st as well. Next couple NASHCAST altcasts that you can watch on SEG Plus and Mammoth Plus. But Nasher, I'll let you go get some sleeves on for the good of your neighbors and all those down by you and AZ. But we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, one last thing. Don't forget NASHCAST Official on Instagram, NASHCAST Official on YouTube, and NASHCAST Official on X. So don't miss it. Sign up, subscribe, all the good stuff. We got so much more to come, folks. Thank you. And I apologize. I hope you didn't just eat after having to watch this. So see you, buddy.